Welcome to TrendSpeak by Innovators and Leaders. I am Alok Asthana. This is a breakthrough concept of using trends as a strategic aid for a meeting of minds at the top management for the very reason that they exist, that is strategic questioning and design. This system is a creation of the world's best known researcher on systematic innovation, Daryl Mann and Yekta Ozezer. They have named it as Trend DNA. The presentation is how innovators and leaders use this system in their own unique way. As you know, people buy an iPod for two reasons: the good reason and the real reason. Do you really know what your customer thinks? The TrendSpeak activity is usually an intense workshop for the talk team, with a lot of ground activity preceding and succeeding the workshop. Through this, they can get answers to a variety of questions such as these. The system uses Trend DNA cards, which are a set of 158 cards, each describing a compelling trend of the consumer, society, and the market. On the front face of each card, one trend is noted. On the other side of the card, however, you will find two groups of notings. One, what other trend does this particular trend lead to? That is the positive correlation. And two, what other trend does this particular trend contradict? That is the negative correlation. The real insight of trend watching is that it is not trends by themselves that matter, but their interaction with each other. Let us take just one example from the trend of vigilante consumer. The trend itself is interesting, but what complicates the issue is the way it correlates with the other trends. It leads to authenticity and six other trends, but it also contradicts convenience and three others. In the case of vigilante consumerism, the trend gets additional flavor through the trend of authenticity. However, while providing for the trends of the vigilante consumer with the added flavor of authenticity in your product, you also have to ensure that your measures do not annoy those who seek convenience. As you might have noted, the needs of these two groups contradict each other. And removing that contradiction might make the difference between a failure and success. This act of contradiction resolution is carried out in TrendSpeak using specialized tools from the discipline of TRIZ and the theory of constraints. Let us go through the motions in a typical TrendSpeak workshop. The team starts with a rough idea of what it wants to achieve and these 158 cards. Each trend card outlines one trend, quite like getting a statistically valid insight at the press of a button. But since each industry also has its own specific trends, we do comprehensive research beforehand on your industry and augment these 158 general cards with 10 to 15 more specific to your industry. Oh, don't get so overawed by the number of cards. 158 and another 10, 15. The cards are organized in clusters and are coded. Once you define your customers, you will be using cards specific only to that cluster, so relax. Each TrendSpeak workshop is unique, customized for the question and the group. Some would start with a very focused aim. How do I produce a better refrigerator, which is a first purchase for a newly married couple? Or maybe an unfocused vague idea. How do I make more money than at present? Therefore, the structure of the workshop must be flexible, very flexible. A typical workshop can be summarized using this trend mapper sheet. There are 5 distinct activities. Team thinking is channeled through all these activities in a structured but non-linear manner. Application of thought follows this three concentric circles approach. Discussion of specific activities in the first circle sees ideas converted to clues in the second circle, which finally refine to solutions in the inner circle. Let us get to the details of the outer circle, which has six main activities. And the first is outcome and players. It focuses on the ideal function that we might want to deliver and the various stakeholders in that process. In one such exercise for a refrigerator company, the discussion on the function of food enhancement took an interesting turnaround on the refrigerator from a device that slows down the degradation of food to one that potentially enhances its quality. The second is defining perfection. This takes up from the previous discussion and focuses on different attributes that may please different stakeholders. The third is where to innovate. That takes you to the realization that business consists of 12 areas, of which product is just one. So why concentrate only on the product? This exercise maps the prior art, the existing innovations in the market in each of the 12 areas, and thus clearly shows up the white spaces open for innovation. After this round of activities 1, 2, and 3, we get on with activities 4 and 5. In these two, 4 and 5, the trend cards actually play a major part. The fourth activity is about defining your customers better. It gets into the high level generational characteristics of the target market in terms of who and when. All generations, the Gen Y, Baby Boomer, Gen X, have very definable characteristics. Why not use that knowledge? And where is that knowledge available? You guessed it right. In form of trend cards relevant to that segment of customers. The fifth is also about defining customers. It tracks the thinking styles of the target populations. The crystallized insights are in front of you in the form of trend cards for that segment. The sixth is about defining and solving contradictions. More about it later. By the time we get through all the six activities, we have systematically gone through all aspects of the business with the questioner's mind and hopefully shed a lot of assumptions, giving us a lot of relevant clues in the central circle. These clues are then moved to the candidate trend area and the trend network map area. The analysis now starts into which trend leads to further trends and which ones conflict with other trends. The leads to pointers go to strengthening the relevance of the trend in the trend network mapping area, while the contradictions are systematically resolved using the dedicated techniques of TRIZ and the TOC, of which we have already spoken about. These techniques may be called the real engine of TrendSpeak. The contradiction resolution activity converts clues and trends into some possible solutions. The accepted solutions are then moved to the action planning zone. While all this may appear here as structured, which they are, the thinking is non-linear all the way. So that is TrendSpeak for you from innovators and leaders, an effective aid for all forms of top strategic thinking. Thank you.